Hello, folks, and all be all here. And this is going to be a week two highlight or synopsis. So, as you can see over here from the screenshot, I'm in the third battle, but I did lose my second battle of the week, which was unfortunate. But I wasn't that disappointed because the opponent was really good. We chatted briefly over the chat as well, and he really was on top of his game. Used a lot of off-meta counters. Now that history is up, I had a chance to go and take a look at it, and made extremely few mistakes. Let me quickly show you guys a view of the board. So I wanted to make sure that I prevented full clearing. The opponent was Rusty Jackin. That was the name of my opponent. So the way that I set up my board was I wanted to prevent the full clear, and you can see over here, this is the final score, 1676 versus 1644. Placed four GLs and DR, GAS, and CLS on defense, and my opponent was still able to one-shot everything because they saved everything on offense except for one GL, I think. They saved everything else on offense. So these days, what I'm observing in GAC is that if you really want to, you can clear the board by keeping everything on offense. Then it becomes an efficiency game, and it's extremely difficult given the options that are available now with all the new Omicrons and the new teams which have come in. It's almost impossible to prevent a full clear if your opponent is determined to go full offense. So that's something which I might be tweaking sometime in the future because I really don't play efficiency games that well. The way that I succeed is by preventing the full clear, and maybe I need to tweak my game a little bit because my character zone was one shot completely. You can see my opponent got 1676, so they did struggle a little bit on my fleets. I'd set both negotiator and executor, and three battles, two battles there. So a little bit of banners lost on the fleets, but ultimately it was a reasonable enough job. Where I lost out was I tried out troopers versus the Darth Revan squad with Talon in there, and I don't think my troopers have enough damage. A bunch of them are G12, so I ended up not killing all of them in time, and I had to clean up with another squad. So that ended up costing me some banners, and I think I lost some banners and ships as well. I one-shot the Malevolence, the Executor, but the Empire ship ended up costing me a little bit, and then I lost another battle on Mon Mothma as well. So great job to my opponent to defeat me over there. I really need to do a better job of getting my efficiency game up. I'm still making a lot of mistakes, still trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. But I'm okay as long as my record is like 2-1 every week. So I need to make sure that I win this third match because I started off at the max of Kaibo 1. I'm at the lower end of the GP range, which was eligible for I think it was 3810, which was the start of the Kaibo 1, and which is the top of the Kaibo 1, and I was at the lower end of the GP, so I ended up meeting a lot of opponents who I was having a really tough time against. A lot of roster mismatches and were really great opponents. So I think about reaching the phase where it's. I'm starting to hit a wall where I'm getting those opponents who either got much better rosters than me or who are much better players than me. So I'm okay at this stage going 2-1 because remember it's a marathon, not a sprint. As long as you keep going 2-1 every single week, your score will consistently keep improving. I believe right now my score is close to 3,900 or something like that. I think around the 4,000 mark is when things start getting really tough. So as long as you keep winning one match or two matches every single week, your score will keep improving. Even if you look at it from a season point of view, if you win seven matches out of five, if you have a 7-5 record, then that means you are consistently improving every season by season. So we're sort of reaching that equilibrium phase, which I'm pretty much okay with. A lot of people who started off in lower divisions like Kaiba 2 or the lower end of Kaiba 1, they're now they've had a really good run, and they're beginning to face opponents right now where their record might be a little bit challenged. So I think we are about reaching the phase. I think in season 2 is when we'll reach the phase where more of these skill levels will get equalized, but things will still move about. It'll take at least a couple of months for the inactive or casual GAC players to drop all the way down to Orodium or Chromium and below. So I think it'll take at least a couple of months for things to stabilize. But as of now, I think we are headed in the right direction. So my current opponent. is actually a member of my own guild, Hotsky Patrol. So you can see over here is Spacegrass. We briefly chatted before this match as well. It's got about 800k lifetime banners. Has been a member of this guild, of the same guild that me and Zarath are a part of as well. We have we use basically the same counters in TW and all of that. So a lot of things we had going for us, and Spacecraft is a really good opponent. I mean, in the way that they use their counters and all, they're extremely careful, and I think they're very Spacecraft is really comfortable with the efficiency game. So you can see over here, he did manage to one-shot my character zone, which I was pretty impressed with. Again, I went with a relatively heavy defense. I set a couple of GLs up front over here, a Ray and an SLKR, and I kept Gas and Darth Revan, all of which were one shot. At the back, I kept my Jedi Master Kenobi, third GL over here, and I kept a couple of other teams, a BAM team and a Finn team. The Finn team is really nothing much to talk about. And then up top, did I keep another GL? No. Oh yeah, I did. I kept a fourth GL up top, Lord Vader, and then a GG team and a couple of other weak squads. So again, four GLs and Darth Revan and Gas, and my defense was still one shot. Because my opponent kept almost all GLs on offense, as you'll see. Did drop one battle against my negotiator, so got 1651. So I have a little bit of leeway, but I do need to one-shot the whole board in order to have a comfortable victory, and I need to do it efficiently as well. So I'm not used to my board being one shot. I usually like to get holes, and that's what happened in the first couple of weeks. I was able to get holes every single time, and but now with the amount of options available for offense, especially with Omicrons and all that, it's really difficult to prevent a full clear. So my opponent has some banner stripping teams out here up front. No GLs on the north wall, but a lot of banner stripping teams over here. But we'll attack that later. Let's see what we have down south. So we have a Darth Revan squad with Talon in there. And I have a JTR squad, I've got a BAM squad, and I've got Mon Mothma, a weaker version of Mon Mothma squad. So I need to be careful and not drop any battles at all, because one or two drop battles and I'm out of the running, because I might have to drop a battle against Malevolence as well. Now, so last time I tried Troopers versus Darth Revan with Talon, and they did manage to get one or two characters out, but they weren't able to complete the job. So I decided to try a different, more safer counter this time, which is Maul versus Darth Revan. And if you put Watt in there, then the speeds don't matter. Even if it's a really fast Darth Revan with Darth Talon in there, giving the 20 speed bonus, or even if it's Maul lead, Darth Maul lead with Darth Revan, and they go really, really blazing fast, it doesn't matter at all, because what happens over here is Watt gets a bonus turn at the beginning, uses his special to give tech to someone, and Maul immediately takes a turn because of frenzy, and after that the turn meter train starts, because Candrass ends up assisting, gaining turn meter, and Maul can very easily start one-shotting people very quickly. So that's what we'll showcase over here. I believe this Darth Revan was about 340 speed, so about 360 speed with the Talon in there. Very first thing I did was I gave a tank tech to Candrass, because I expected him to taunt a lot. And then I started going after Marauder almost immediately. For this version, a lot of people like to take Armorer in there. Against Darth Revan, I prefer a little extra damage. So I went with Django this time. And you can see that extra damage really helped out, because I was able to melt these guys pretty effectively. Sith Marauder was taken out pretty effectively, and then before the enemy team got to go, Basti was taken out as well. Now they will end up going first, but then one of your characters will always be taunting. So Darth Revan will waste the fear ability on one of them. So Maul will end up getting feared, and most likely your Candrass also will always be feared, because he'll keep inflicting dots on Revan. On Malak, and because of that he keeps getting feared, because every time you inflict a dot on Malak, he keeps getting feared. But because Bo is in there, what ends up happening is I end up getting tons of assists, and my protection keeps regenerating. And just look at the damage that these guys are doing. It's a good thing that Django was in there to one-shot Darth Revan. But look at the amount of damage these guys are doing, and amount of protection regeneration that these guys are having. It's pretty great. Um, and it seems like a pretty safe counter, even though your team, it feels like they're almost always feared. Like the three of my characters are feared at this point. It feels like they're almost always feared, but the battle is always under control as long as you have enough damage to take down a few key characters fast. If you remember, I was able to take down two characters on the team before the enemy team even got to go. I was only able to do because Django was in the team. I needed that extra damage from Django. But once a battle has reached this stage, it's pretty easy enough to control the battle and end with decent banners. I got almost max banners over here. I think a little bit was missing on Watt because he couldn't regenerate his banners. But otherwise, 74 banners, which is pretty great outcome against Darth Revan, especially if you don't have to waste your own GL against it. And for me, it seemed a little more smoother than the trooper option. Especially if your troopers don't have enough damage, then I won't use them against the Darth Revan squad, even if you outspeed them, because it's very easy to lose control if you're not able to bridge. This particular counter is pretty straightforward. Troopers, as long as you outspeed the enemy team and don't allow the Finn to take a turn, it's a pretty straightforward counter. Troopers really is overkill against this team. I could have gone with the sisters as well, but I was looking for wins with decent banners, which is why I went with this particular option. So there we go. All the team has been taken out without any damage on my troopers at all. So a good 65 banners over here. I'm trying very consciously to play an efficiency heavy match because I don't know what's there at the back and I might end up dropping a battle there. So I need to be sure that I end up with pretty decent banners. Now against the Mon Mothma squad, I decided to take in my Treya. Um, this is not the TM version of Mon Mothma. There's no Kyle Katarn, there's no Biston, there's no Pow. So not much of a threat. They won't be training TM that much. They do, maybe I should have gotten another tank or something like that, but they do go after my Treya initially a bit. And even without the TM version, these guys do end up going a ton, which is surprising to see. Um, Yep. So over here, I've managed to get the battle under control. One thing I really like to do is if you're going against Mon Mothma, even the TM train version, if you're taking Treya against it and I don't want the team to run away with it, you need to bring in characters who get turn meter on out of turn assists or deaths. And two characters who can do that is Marauder. If you get in your Marauder with a Sit trio, then he ends up taking a turn quite frequently every time the enemy goes. And he's with his big shot, he's very likely to be able to one-shot someone and then get the battle back in control. Sidious is another character who gets 50% turn meter anytime someone dies. So if by chance they manage to kill someone in your team, Sidious and everyone is at low health, at red health, Sidious will immediately get a turn, do a big AoE, and wipe out the bulk of the characters, especially if they're already in red health. So Sidious is another good character to take in as a backup in case you can't spare Marauder. But in this case over here, you see the battle is very much under control, nothing much to worry about. Um, I've already annihilated, I think, one character and taken care of the other character. And now just have to take care of Leia. Leia was almost able to get me in yellow health, but with a few timely heals, I'm able to get back in control. And with this, I think I should be done with the battle. Yep, almost done. Treya is almost killed off Princess Leia, and there we go. So 62 battle banners. I did leave one slot empty, so that helped out a little bit. So I'm still going okay in terms of efficiency. Um, Now, let's see. Yep, I decided that I could afford CLS against the BAM team. Typically, I would have taken the Aura Bounty Hunter team, but I decided to save that in case I run into a more trickier squad at the back, and I didn't want to afford a loss over here with Aura Bounty Hunters. And CLS it's overkill, but it's more of a sure thing against this team. Just have to focus down BAM, take him out, and then the other characters will fall pretty easily. All the crits are healing up IG-11 quite a lot, but there's really not much of an issue. All right, so now we need to just get rid of Quill and then get rid of Bo-Katan. No damage on the steam apart from Mando in there, so it's pretty easy to control the steam. And there we go, we end up with 65 banners. So doing okay so far. I think 2 or 3 65, 164, 2 65s, and 162. Let's see what's at the back. And he did keep one GL. He typically always keeps Lord Vader, so I was expecting that. And you do see the Qui Gon Jinn team over there as well, which could get tricky because it's got it doesn't have Cam, but it does have GK in there, who can cause some problem with damage with critical damage immunity. Now let's see. We've also got Geos in there, but let's go ahead and take care of the Lord Vader. I have two GLs on offense. I've got the Jedi Master Luke, and then I've got my non-ultimate Sith Eternal. So I decided to take in my Jedi Master Luke with all the best Jedi against Lord Vader. And I do have a very fast Jedi Master Luke, so I'm able to go first and put some efflux on him and control the battle. And now it's just a question of doing assist calls and getting to his ultimate as soon as I can. So I'm using the lead ability as much as I can to get to the ultimate. And I'm calling characters who already have the that buff, so that I'm able to reach the ultimate faster, because I believe there's an extra 8% if you call someone who already has that buff. Whatever chance I get, I'm trying to reduce the cooldowns on Lord Vader so that he doesn't do any of his big abilities. And then I end up giving the Master's Training to Jedi Master Luke just to make him a little more tanky and survive a few more hits. Now I'm trying to get Darth Vader down before he gets a chance to go into Merciless. There's one character who ends up taunting over here, so I need to be able to get around that taunt. Nothing much I can do, but just go for my specials, my heroes arise, my not like the special abilities. And with this, I am able to, with the leadership ability, the final one, I'm able to get everyone is day, so I can't call anyone to assist, but it does allow me to at least get the ultimate. So here you can see I'm almost at full health and full protection on everyone, and I've gotten my ultimate, and the Lord Vader is still pretty far away from the ultimate. This is sort of an overkill. I think my opponent Spacegrass had Vader in there to prevent the Trooper Shakti counter, but there's no Maul in there, so that makes it a slightly easier team. With no Maul in there, it takes a while for Vader to reach his ultimate, and by that time you've already taken care of most of his allies, so he really won't get much mastery from the ultimate. So here you can see I'm reducing his cooldowns where I can, and I'm trying to keep him in control and trying to take out his side characters so that he doesn't have any allies when he reaches his ultimate. There we go. And keep alternating between reducing his cooldowns and applying ability block. And I think I'm just saving my big heal for once he goes into ultimate. All right, there we go. He's almost at ultimate, but I'm trying to do what I can to get him down before that. I do the cleanse over here. Maybe I should have waited a little bit, but I've almost got him down. So I think now it's just a question of applying one big hit to get him down before his ultimate. So yeah, I think I do get him down over here before his ultimate. Yeah, one final big hit from JML, and Lord Vader is down. There you go. So that was taken care of in a one shot, and okay enough banners. Now I decide to use my Qui Gon, my Bad Batch versus Qui Gon Jinn. This is a decent enough counter if you play it carefully. You have to be really mindful and take your time with this counter. Um, Now I did make the calculations, and my Bad Batch team was faster than the enemy team. They don't have cam in there for the extra 30 speed bump, but with all that foresight in there, I ended up getting tons of turn meter on my team. So there you go. Now my tech is also decently fast enough, but with the turn meter boost, it's easy for him to go second, and I managed to get a good 5 turn stun over here. Now what I do is I target Qui-Gon Jinn and then pass turn meter over to Wrecker, and then start another 2 turn stun over here and get defense up with everyone. And with the you can see over here. Uh, Qui-Gon Jinn did go into red and he died as well. But because of the extra stun in there, Jedi Knight Anakin is still under stun. He didn't come out of his bonus turn. And now, after Qui-Gon Jinn dies, then Jedi Knight Anakin comes out. So now I need to do what I can to target Anakin directly and kill him before he does his AoE. It's extremely touch and go. You know, a lot of things can happen over here. But I'm stuck behind the taunt, so Kenobi does make things a little tricky. Stuck behind the taunt, but what I'm doing, what I decide to do over here is use my second ability, the second special, the Empathy First, because that ends up giving some amount of bonus protection to my team. So in case Anakin goes, I will have a little bit of buff to uh, to absorb the hit. But as it ended up happening, Anakin ended up not going, and I ended up um, I ended up getting decent damage done. One thing I do want to note over here, the empathy ability. Um, let's see, can it dispel? Gain stealth for 2 turns, gain protection up. She gains a target practice. So there's really nothing which dispels it. So what actually ended up happening over here was GK was almost at full turn meter, which is why he ends up taking a turn and loses his taunt. That's the only reason that I was able to get full access to Jedi Knight Anakin. But if the taunt was still up, then I wouldn't have been able to target Anakin, and he would have probably had a feast on my team. And probably with the 2 turn offense boost on Qui-Gon Jinn's death, maybe he might have one-shot my Bad Batch team. So again, touch and go. That counter, especially if GK is in there, can get really tricky. It just depends on how the turn meter lines up. So you have to just play it very deliberately. Now, this is something I don't see very often. Bad Batch with Padme. But Jedi Knight Revan team can take out all sorts of Padme teams, no problem at all. The bigger danger is if Anakin is in there, you target Anakin and take him down. In this particular squad, the biggest danger is Echo, because you don't want him dispelling all of the good buffs that Qui-Gon, that Jedi Master Yoda gives out, and you don't want him dazing the squad and preventing all those turn meter turn meter generation, because you don't want days in there. So I'm targeting Echo with single damage attacks and trying to take him down before he gets a chance to go, and I do manage to take him out. Now I need to work on Padme and take her out, because I won't be able to call assists on anybody else as long as Padme is around. Especially Wrecker and the rest of these guys can get really thick. So I'm doing single target attacks, a very similar strategy to the Jedi Knight Anakin version of the traditional Padme team. You take out Anakin first, then you focus down on Padme, take her out, and then you take out the rest of the squad. Because without Padme's unique ability to give protection up, these guys will melt pretty fast to a Jedi Knight Revan team. So that's what I'm doing over here. Tons of turn meter generation on Yoda. Tons of buffs I got to steal from them as well. So I'm just targeting Wrecker, trying to take him down. Yeah, these guys are really tanky. But without Echo in there to dispel the debuffs or dispel the buffs, this team is really quite toothless. All right. Now I'm just finishing off the rest of the characters and then trying to call Bastio here so that I can end with decent banners because everyone else has got full banners. And with this, with the mass assist, Basti also ends up giving me full banners. So I get a full 65 over here as well. So doing decently on efficiency so far. Then I decide to go against the ZAM team. And this one I decide to use my own bounty hunters. This is not an Omicron ZAM, it's just a regular ZAM. But I decide to use my Omicron ZAM with Aura lead to take this out. And for this particular squad, I just made a video on this that feel free to check that out. But it's on the right turn meter that you need to use or the right order of operations if you want to use bounty hunters with Aura lead with ZAM Omicron. Because what will happen if you do a mass assist over here is Mando ends up getting turn meter, 30% turn meter as opposed to 15%. And because of the extra speed that ZAM gives, Mando ends up going first before Grief. And he doesn't have his contract with him at that time. So what you need to do over here is use basic from Bosk, and that enables Grief to go next. And once Grief gets a chance to go, then you use a mass assist, and then you'll be much closer to getting the contract. So Zam goes, Aura goes a couple of times. Grief gets to, Boss gets to go next. Use a mass assist over here, and then we've got the contract now, and Mando still has another chance to go. Now Mando gets to go. He finishes off the most dangerous character on the team, and then the battle is very much under control. You don't even need to let the enemy take a single turn. So that's the way to play this battle. Avoid the mass assist from Bosk. Do a basic from Zam or from Bosk first, and make sure that the first mass assist to do is from Grief, and then you can almost ensure that Mando will have his contract when his turn comes around, because that is really the key to this counter. All right, now let's go for the Separatist squad, and for this one. I think I decided to go with my Geos, and I decided to replace the Poggle with um, Moff Gideon, because my Moff Gideon is really fast, faster than the enemy Quill, and I wanted to enable my Geos to go first. So this is a very popular technique to enable your Geos to get the first move advantage. You get Gideon in there if you can spare him, and reduce everyone's turn meter. Your own Geos will get 25% turn meter, and then you get ahead, and then you can basically just start to take the squad out one by one, and maintain the turn meter train from the Geos. So even though most of my Geos are G12, it's perfectly fine. The important one is Spy is relicked up. So as long as you have that first mover advantage, which Gideon gives you, this one is a pretty straightforward and decent counter. So I'm saving my big heal from GBA over here. The other advantage of Gideon being in there is, the enemy team does less damage. So typically Django would have one-shot my soldier in there, but because Gideon was in there, he reduced his offense by 50%, and he wasn't able to one-shot my soldier. And I end up with, I think, pretty decent banners in this one as well, which is difficult to do with Geos. But let's see how many banners I ended up with. 62, so lost 3 banners over here. All right. So far doing okay. 62 to 65 banners is how I'm doing so far. And then I decide to go for. I still have tons on offense left. I have my Sith Eternal, so I decide to use a Sith Eternal against this. There's no ultimate, and I probably could have soloed it, but I just decided to go with extra options. I threw in Thrawn in there. I probably wouldn't need Thrawn for any other team. I threw in Armorer in there. It was like real overkill, but I wanted to make sure that I did not drop any battles, because I was so far winning the efficiency battle. I needed to make sure that I don't drop anything at all, because you never know what can happen with ships. So I took in all 5 characters over here, including the Sith Trooper in there. Apply the link over here, and then fracture, and then I decided to give the Beskar ingots to Sith Eternal right away. And my goal is for me to end with max banners, I need to take out Sith Trooper, the source of AoEs basically. Sith Trooper and Kylo Ren unmasked, or Kylo Ren masked. These guys are the ones who end up doing tons of damage with AoE and end up costing banners. Kylo Ren unmasked also has that additional irritating feature of having healing immunity on his basic, which can prove problematic for um, for my trooper to heal. There you go. Again, I just dispelled, cleansed the healing immunity, and Sid Trooper got healing immunity again from Kylo. So maybe I should have gone after OG Kylo over there and taken him out to prevent all of these things from happening. So as it happens over here, my Sith Trooper got taken out. So now I need to do what I can to ensure maximum banners versus the other guys. So the rest of these guys are pretty tanky, so I'm not that worried about it. My Sith Trooper is only G12, but the rest of them um, should be able to end with full banners on all the rest of them. Um, so with no ultimate over here, I just have to do damage the old-fashioned way. Finally able to get a stun on Kylo Ren and able to recover at least some protection on this guy. And then with this, I think ended up topping up Armorer, and that's it. And then the battle was under control. So ended up losing 3 banners over here as well, just the Sith Trooper. Could have probably got 66, 67 on this if I'd just taken Armorer and Thrawn and Sith Eternal, but I just wanted to overkill. All right, so at the back on ships, I've got, I see Tarkin, and I see Executor, which is interesting. This is a typical lineup that most people go with. So I've taken my standard Malevolence counter versus Executor, and just pray for good RNG because I can maximum afford maybe 1 drop battle, but nothing more than that. And if it ends up being more than that, like 30 drop banners or so, then or if I'm not able to clear, then it's a victory for my opponent. So let's take a look. I have the way I do things is first I do the special on Houndstooth so that he doesn't get turn meter, and then if my Hyena Bomber has not been targeted, I always do the AoE. I find that RNG goes a little better that way if I save the cleanse for when there is debuffs on my Hyena Bomber. So if either TFP dies or if Vulture Droid dies, I always do the AoE. Only if my Hyena Bomber is targeted, then I do the cleanse on him, the targeted cleanse. So I got the unlucky mark from Spy. It is Razor Crest, which is marked, and not Hyena Bomb, not Xanadu Blood, which is unfortunate. But here you can see over here I have my cleanse available, so I end up using my cleanse over here and end up cleansing a couple of these characters. Still going after Razor Crest. Got 1 savior down for Razor Crest. I still got a second one left, but he's no longer taunting, so it's going to be problematic for me to reach him now. Get in my Ebon Hawk right away, and since there was no breach, I was able to get around Houndstooth and go directly after Razor Crest. And you can see over here, Razor Crest is in red health, and this right here is the reason why I do the AoE first. Because by the time this rolls around, you can see Razor Crest is in red health, and sometimes some other ships also might be in red health. If you have your AoE available, you can take out the Razor Crest when he's hiding behind another ship. So that hiding behind a taunt. So that's the main reason for me to do my AoE first, so that it's available when it comes around at a time like this. Now I've taken out the Razor Crest, which was a danger ship. Now I need to work through these other ships, and my ultimate is here, so this makes the job way easier. I go after Boba's ship first, just because Houndstooth does not have Vulture Droids yet. So I wait till I apply Vulture Droids on Houndstooth, And then I see whoever has got the maximum turn meter, which is Darth Maul over here, scimitar. So I get in my Sunfac facing Darth Maul so that I stun him, and then I go after Bosk and get him under control. And then it's just an easy enough job doing the cleanup for the other ships. So I did manage to one-shot it, got 63, which is a great outcome against Executor any day. Did have some good RNG go my way, but as long as you're purposeful and careful and deliberate about how you approach it, you can reduce the chance of failure. Now, Empire. I need to figure out a better solution over here because, spoiler alert, I lose this battle. And this is not the first time I've lost it. Even in the last match, if you remember, I lost an Empire mirror match. So I need to figure out a better way to handle the Empire ships that I see. My Rebel fleet is really not good enough to get the first mover advantage to take out TIE Bomber first before it gets a chance to go. So I avoid using my Rebels against Empire. But maybe I should explore, how First Order, for example, can do a better job against these Empire fleets. I know quite a few people have had tons of success against Empire fleet with First Order. You depending on what the starting comp is, I think there are a couple of different options that you can do. But over here, this particular battle is really not going appropriately for me. What are the other ship options that I have that I can use against these, especially if you're keeping your negotiator on defense? Um, Rebel is the only premium ship that I have apart from Malevolence, and if Rebel is not going to work against the Empire fleet, then I need to use maybe a first order fleet with the three starting first order, and then maybe call fives, not fives, but call Clone Sergeant as a starting tank in order to be able to tank some of the hits. Take out the big damage dealers first. Apply the debuff from Hux's capital ship, demoralized, and then I think. I don't know what other ships you're taking. I'm really unfamiliar with the First Order fleet against Empire. If any of you have any tips on how to take out an Empire fleet cleanly, let me know about it in the comments using First Order or any other fleets. I'm really because I keep seeing these guys so often. I really need a clean solution, or maybe I just need to do something better with the Empire fleet itself, because I'm clearly doing something wrong over here, and not doing a decent enough job of protecting my Vaders in these battles. Anyway, so you can see over here it was a loss. I'm going to fast forward because I cleaned it up with my Rebel fleet pretty easily because there was no TIE bomber in there. Rebel fleets don't have much problem killing this particular fleet. I think the AoE over here does it. Yeah. So I could afford one lost dropped battle because that's what my opponent had dropped as well. So I got 50 banners on a cleanup, which is not too bad. But yeah, so not too many drop battles. And I realized that I just need to clear the board to win. It doesn't even matter if it's a double shot or a triple shot. So I just decided to take my Qui Gon Jinn team over here against that. I do have sisters left as well, but you should check this out. This is a very interesting battle. Qui Gon Jinn is always so much fun on offense. Oh man, check this out. All B grade Jedi except for Jedi Knight Anakin, and these guys end up going and. I save my AoE over here because I want to use the AoE for after Qui-Gon Jinn has had a chance to die. So that's what these guys do over here. They go directly after Qui-Gon Jinn, which is great for me. And check this out. Amazing. Jedi Knight Anakin had his AoE available, and he had offense up, which was good. And he was able to take care of the enemy in one shot. So that's the final score, 1702 to 1651. Great job, Spacegrass, on one-shotting my defense. That's really, I wasn't expecting that, given that I had kept a reasonably tough defense. So that's twice in a row that my character zone has been one-shot, last battle as well as this battle. So I need to figure out some better strategy for my character zone. The initial strategy that I had of front loading with GLs and tough teams and trying to prevent a full clear, that only works if your opponent also has gone relatively heavy on defense. Then you can play to one zone or two zones. But if your opponent decides to save everything for offense, then you really can't prevent the clear. And if they've been careful and they one-shot a character zone, then the pressure is back on you. So you need to anticipate or recognize what kind of play your opponent is going to make, and you have to adjust your attack strategy accordingly. Anyway, that's it for week three. We go 2-1 again. So 3 weeks in a row, I've got 2-1. First week, second week, and third week. So we are, we've reached pretty much like I mentioned before, we've more or less reached our wall, and I'm doing what I can to improve my score ever so slightly every single week. So I'm improving bit by bit my score. Um, I think by about 40 or 50 skill ratings every single week. But as long as I keep up with 2-1, I think I'll be pretty okay with my performance in GAC, because I've taken a look at my last week's opponents, and they are ridiculously good, all of them. Not only do they have every single GL completely relict and amazing mods, but they also have really good ranks, legacy championship score of more than 1.1 million, a Skyber score of almost all my opponents are in the have come in the top 100. So week four is going to be really rough for a lot of other content creators as well. And I won't be surprised if I go 1-2 in this particular week. But I'm shooting for at least a 2-1. That's going to be my goal going forward in all GACs. Anyway, that's it for now. Hope you guys are having a great GAC. Take care, and I will catch you guys soon for week four. Happy gaming.